episode of VCF Breakroom Chats. I'm Shobhit Bhutani, Product Marketing Manager here at VCF Division in Broadcom, and I'm the Product Marketing Lead for AI and ML. I lead messaging and positioning for AI, ML, and Gen AI. In this series, we bring VMware and partner experts to discuss VCF and associated technologies. These fabulous experts also share their backgrounds, industry trends, and general tips for IT technical experts and our customers. I'm very excited today to bring back Himanshu Singh, Director, Product Marketing, Compute, Kubernetes, and Private AI for part 2 of VMware Private AI Foundation with NVIDIA, Unlocking Gen AI. With that, let's go ahead and get started.
From your perspective, like what do you see as the top capabilities, that the PAFE, itself kind of delivers, outside of some of the stuff that we talked about on VCF?
Sure. So I think, like you said, Himanshu, we've gone through so many versions at this point. After general availability, we've come back, released a lot of capabilities even after that, right? And that train is continuing, right? So it would take a long time for us to walk through everyone, but I'm just going to pick 3 to 4 top ones, right? So the first one that comes to mind is something that went generally available last time, is something what we call model store. If you think about what is happening today in the AI world, today anybody can go to Hugging Face, right, or wherever, take a large language model, just deploy it to your to your environment, and there's really no checks and balances. It's almost kind of like what Kubernetes was 10 years back. You could deploy whatever you want without any checks and balances. And that's really what we're solving with the model store, where you have, through hardware, right, capability inside vSphere, you have only curated and selected LLMs that you deploy inside your environment. The admin or a small team of members can actually be kind of like the team that decides who's going to be able, basically, which are the LLMs that you are able to deploy inside your environment. So very important, really. Customers are giving a lot of feedback on this, that this is actually really helps with what they're looking for.
Yes, I can imagine from a governance and audit perspective, this is extremely important. Yeah,
absolutely. You nailed it right there, Himanshu. The governance aspect of this is so huge. Now, the other capability that comes to mind is, vector databases, right? RAG is a very important capability this time for, getting better and better contextual answers. All the time, training a model can be very expensive, and training and retraining a model can be super expensive. It can take time and really, slow down the process for enterprises to be able to get good answers. So what we've partnered with NVIDIA, right, is on doing RAG, right, retrieval augmented generation. And what that means is, instead of going and retraining the model, you actually just have a small database that sits outside the model, and you keep populating that model with the newest documents, right, the newest information or data, usually documents, really, that's what it is. So what you do is, you have this RAG algorithm, right, that NVIDIA supplies, right? And what you do is, instead of going to the model, you go to this database, you get the best answers. And if you don't get enough answers, that's when you go to the model and actually go pick out, good answers from there. But you need a database for that, right? So that's what we are providing as part of our infrastructure, vector databases. This is based on, PG vector on PostgreSQL, right? That's the capability that's the technology on the back end. So it just basically gives fantastic answers, right? And we have demos actually which show that if you disable RAG, right, then you get actually much poorer answers, right? And if you enable RAG, then you get much better and much more contextual and better answers. So that's vector databases. Now let's move on to something that's, I think, very, very exciting: self-service automation, right? Through VCF automation, what we're doing is we're enabling the capability for customers to be able to do, for basically admins to now design, curate, and offer complex objects, right? Basically, and this could mean, if you think about NGC catalog, right? Basically, which is the catalog which, if once customers have NVIDIA AI Enterprise subscription, you get access to this catalog. This catalog has thousands of containers. I think 1,000+ containers last time I checked on it. You may have an object that you won't need to design for your architecture, which has, containers from NGC catalog. You may have your own software libraries. You may have, really complex objects. And now next time around, you want to deploy GenAI or do some changes to it. Guess what? You have to do that exercise all over again. So what customers asked us is, how can you automate this exercise? So what we did was we got this ability to do this complex object generation. And that's what self-service and automation supplies to customers, right? And if you could imagine a world in which the infra admin actually generates these complex objects, spins it out, and then you have this catalog library from which the next admin or the user or the data scientist can just pull down and very quickly deploy it, right? So really speeds up, GenAI deployments really well. The other capability that comes to mind is monitoring, GPU monitoring. Like if you think about our core strength of VMware, like we're able to provide customers with a lot of ability to monitor the infrastructure, at a host level, cluster level. Now we're taking that same thing across clusters and hosts for GPUs as well, because GPUs are expensive, as we know. We want to utilize them extremely well. We want to make sure that every ounce of, GPU usage takes place. Just like we've done such a tremendous job with, CPUs, we're doing the same across GPUs.
Makes sense. No, those are extremely key, capabilities, and so this is again kind of a testament to all the work that the engineering teams have done for with Broadcom
Right.
and NVIDIA together, right? So,
Right.
and I know maybe we have a few more minutes, but I would love to kind of also hear from you about some of the newer capabilities that are going to be we've talked about already, but they are like in the upcoming release. Anything interesting you want to share from that?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of stuff on the truck, right? And I'm tempted to talk more than I should, but I'm going to talk just specifically about the stuff we've already announced, right? And then customers can get much more information when we make release announcements for our next release. But as part of future releases, right, what we have is vGPU profile visibility. That's going to be a very important capability as well. When you virtualize GPUs, you end up generating a lot of different vGPUs, right, that you're utilizing across different GPUs. The vGPU profile capability will give the admins the ability to very easily view what's happening at a vGPU level, and across your entire vGPU estate, right? So it's very important for customers who have a lot of virtual GPUs, right? Which is, as a big enterprise, it's a massive capability. Data indexing and retrieval service. This capability is now going into pretty much the data scientist world, right? So as data scientists take models, they need to be able to, simplify some of the data prep, and then, be able to update knowledge bases, right? So they're able to get the right information linked so that the customization, et cetera, can happen properly, right, on their side. And that's what data indexing and retrieval service does. AI agent builder service. Everybody wants to build agents right now. Agentic AI is the biggest thing, right? It's like the next revision, right, of the next upgrade, so to speak, in Gen AI world. There's a world, it's expected that within the next 3 to 5 years, there's potentially going to be billions of, agents, right, which will do a whole bunch of complex activities. Customers are asking us, what can we do in this space? And now we're going to come up with an AI agent builder service. The last one is GPU reservations. GPU reservation is a very interesting capability. As GPUs, again, it goes back to our model of utilizing GPUs, to their absolute maximum, right? And as you're utilizing GPUs, admins want the ability to be able to book GPUs, right? And be able to not get to a capability where none of the GPUs are underutilized. So if there's, for example, an 80 gigabyte workload, you want to make sure that you're able to reserve space on a GPU. It's almost like a hotel reservation, right? You're going to be using it in advance, so you want to book that GPU right now. So when that workload comes up, it doesn't mean like you haven't hopefully not booked 2 GPUs at half, and now this bigger workload is now sitting with no place. So now you have to buy a third GPU. So what this GPU with reservations capability will do, it will utilize all GPUs at its full capability, right, at the maximum. So you still have the spare capability, spare workload, capability, spare space available on a GPU, and that's what the GPU reservation will do. So that's the last one, right?
Yeah. Okay. And of course, these are only the the ones that we've like publicly already talked about. There's a bunch of other stuff that's coming that we can't share right now. So
absolutely, there's more coming. Hang on. As soon as the release announcement comes in, the audience will definitely come back and revisit and give you even more, right? So we'll tell you, like Himanshu just gave you a hint, there's definitely a lot more coming. This is just the stuff we've already talked about. So with that, we're coming to a close of this episode. Thanks so much, first of all, Himanshu, for joining me today. So much fun having you after the first one, and hopefully, we'll bring you back again.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? I mean, the first one I was the one answering. Now I've already started asking questions. So I'm coming after your job, man. Watch out. Next one, you'll end up being the one doing all the talking. So
we'll flip it next time. Do something different. Yeah. It was fun, kind of flipping the roles this time. Wonderful. So had a lot of fun having this conversation. Thank you once again, Himanshu. And with that, we're coming to an end of this episode. If you like this episode, please definitely join in for the next one. This is your host, Shobhit Bhutani, signing off. Have a fabulous day, evening, night, and week. Bye-bye till next time.